Welcome to the 17th American Indian Disability Summit. After a year away due to the COVID-19 pandemic, I am delighted to present the Summit Planning Committee as we greet you with open arms and thank you for being part of the important conference. Our theme for this year's event is Gathering Native Voices for Resiliency and Self-Care. In a time of pandemic, a time of great suffering and loss, especially in far too many of our Native communities, there is perhaps no better message to explore than a message that speaks to our culture, our past, and our present. A message of courage and strength, a message of care for ourselves, but also for our families, our loved ones, and our communities. In the face of many trials, we are resilient, whether we are a person with a disability or one who gives care to that person. And today's speakers and presenters will offer ideas, resources, and guidance for how we can continue to be strong and resilient in our care for others as well as ourselves, no matter what challenges may come our way. At this time, it is my privilege to offer our welcome prayer.
Well, I can volunteer. I'm not an Arizona Tribal member, but I'm in Arizona and I grew up here. So if that's okay with our Arizona Tribal members, I will humbly do the best I can. I like to consider myself an elder in training, but I might be an elder already and didn't know it. Hey.
Thank you,
So
Jim.
I'll go ahead and do my best I can to represent the Arizona Tribal Nations. Palamia washtelo, tankashala, oyate washte. Thank you, grandfather, for bringing these good people together today. Let us have open minds and open hearts so that we can learn together and help our future generations and current generations that have disability. All of us are able to make a difference. All of us can indeed change lives for future generations, and many of us are doing the best we can. Tankashla, please guide us as we learn together today and allow us to better the lives for our people with disabilities, not only in Indian country, but for all of our two-legged brothers and sisters. Palamia washtelo.
Thank you, Jim. We appreciate your inspiring words. For many years, Ability 360 has been the key organizational supporter of the Native American Disability Summit. I now want to ask Phil Pangrazio, Ability 360 CEO, to make some remarks. Phil?
Hello, good morning, everybody. I'm hoping you can hear me. Very good, very good. Well, great to see you all. Yep, I'm Phil Pangrazio, the CEO of Ability 360. And just want to make a quick welcome to you all to this 17th Annual American Indian Disability Summit. Amazing that we're now on the 17th year, and less exciting that we're Zooming through it. I think we're all zoomed out, but it's amazing. It's great that we can do this. I mean, I'm seeing 275 people on this call. And I know we're reaching people outside of Arizona. I think this is the first time we've ever done that, which is really, really exciting. You know, this summit, it brings together state, federal, nonprofit, and tribal partnerships to provide a broad range of resources and services to American Indians with disabilities and their families. So we got a lot of really cool stuff in store for you today at this summit. You know, if you're joining us today, it's because you're interested in learning more about living successfully with a disability in your life. So whether you yourself have a disability, or you're a parent, a sibling, a friend, a relative, or a caregiver of someone living with a disability, today's summit will have something for you. Disability is a natural part of the human experience, but the human experience for many people with disabilities has not always been what it should be. A life where one is treated as a whole person, is ensured choice in how and where we live, is afforded dignity and respect, is treated equally, and is included in all aspects of our society and communities. So I know we're going to talk a lot about how we can make that happen for people with disabilities in Indian country today. And I noticed there's a lot of focus on advocacy. And as the great father of the independent living movement, Ed Roberts, said, if we did three things really well, it would be advocacy, advocacy, and advocacy. So I'm thrilled that that is part of our agenda today. And I'm also thrilled that our keynote speaker is Ability 360, our own Rosalie Perry. So I'm excited to hear more from Rosalie. And lastly, I'll just say, hey, welcome to you all. This is fabulous. Even though we're virtual, we can still give each other a big virtual hug. Soon enough, we're going to get, yeah, Jimmy. And we're going to be together soon enough to where we can really give each other a real hug. And I'm going to give you one last quick sneak preview. Ability 360 Center is going to be, we're going to host a weekend, Saturday, Sunday vaccination site in early April. So we have an opportunity to help vaccinate those in the Phoenix metro area. Keep your ears open for the announcement of that coming next week on the exact date, because we hope we can vaccinate a lot of folks, folks with disabilities, family members, caregivers, friends. We're going to do that. So anyway, with that, welcome to the summit. I know eventually I'm going to turn it over to Jimmy, our everyone's favorite Sun Devil, Rose Bowl tackle, Jimmy Warren. We love you, buddy. And everybody have a great, great day. Thank you.
All right, go Devils. On behalf of everyone, Phil, thank you for Ability 360's continued partnership. I sincerely appreciate your commitment to the summit's success. Now it is my honor to introduce Jim Warney, one of the visionaries who brought the American Indian Disability Summit to life 17 years ago, to share his thoughts on the meaning and importance of this event for the Native American disability community. Jim?
Hi, thank you so much. And it's wonderful to be here. 19 years ago, we did a talking circle at the Phoenix Indian Health Center. And it was wonderful to be able to gather folks back then that really wanted to do something for people with disabilities in Indian country. And we hosted a talking circle. I was contracted with NAU and with their disability programs up there. And we conducted a talking circle, and the outcome was this summit. So I'm always utilizing our traditional ways, talking circles, other elements that I'll be sharing in my presentation later. But it's wonderful to see this 17 years later, still moving through different challenges, financial, locations, COVID, and as shared, it's wonderful that we have this tool of Zoom so that we can reach not only our Arizona brothers and sisters, but we can reach everyone throughout the nation. So I see a lot of friends and colleagues and former students online. So hello to all of you and welcome to this event. It's wonderful to see it continue and grow. And the benefit of this is that our tribal members with disability have a area where we can gather, and this is another circle, if you will, one of our council fires of the Disability Summit, so that we can gather together and share our ideas and thoughts regarding disability services. Pardon me, I had the cough there. But again, this is something where I'm starting to work. I have a contract with Sonoran Center for Disabilities, where we're going to be creating some Native centers and programs similar to what I do at the University of South Dakota Oyate Circle. We were able to create a new disability sub-center within the University Center for Disabilities in South Dakota. And now we're growing and doing work nationally with various organizations. And I want to acknowledge Wendy Parent Johnson, who first contracted me and then eventually hired me at University of South Dakota part-time to do the work. And now she's at University of Arizona and at the Sonoran Center, and asked me to help create some more programs in the state of Arizona. So it's wonderful to be back. I can't wait to start traveling and raz hopping again in Arizona, and seeing old friends and students from the state, and creating whatever we can to increase disability services and awareness and whatever the communities want, because we'll be conducting talking circles once again to establish what the communities out there in Indian country, in this case for Arizona, what their needs are particularly, so that we can better serve our tribal members with disability. So look for some new things coming from the Sonoran Center regarding Indian country. We'll be partnering with other organizations, tribal voc rehab programs, and other disability programs that want to work with us so that we can expand and partner so that we can reach more people with disabilities in Indian country. So again, it's a great pleasure to be with you today. I can't wait to hear from Rosalie. Again, I remember this all started with the Mark Harrison. He was a friend of mine, and we have his leadership award to honor him because he made his journey too early in life, but he left great footprints. And part of that is this Disability Summit, because I still remember that phone call when I gave him a ring to say, hey, you willing to do a talking circle that's addressing? And before I could even finish, he goes, hey, big boy, come on over. Let's get this done. I know whatever you're doing is going to improve Indian country. So that was a wonderful friendship, and I still can hear his voice, and his footprints are still here through the Disability Summit. So Palamia to Mark Harrison and hosting that talking circle, and to the people that make this continue and make a difference for future generations. So Palamia, Washte.
Jim, we thank you for your leadership and for your friendship. You helped bring the dreams of many people to reality, and we are privileged to carry on the work you started so many years ago. One of this summit's annual traditions is the Marcus Harrison Jr. Leadership Award, an award established in memory of Marcus Harrison Jr., former Chief Executive Officer of Native Health. This honor is given to recognize the work of an individual to keep the voice of advocacy for American Indians with disabilities alive through his or her leadership and dedication. This year, the award is given to Eileen Tahoney, Director of Assist to Independence in Tuba City, Arizona. Eileen, would you like to share a few words?
So honored to see so many people on this call. I see a lot of people that I've worked with, past colleagues, and a lot of disability folks that I know of, so thank you. Good morning. I'm Navajo. I live in Arizona. But I'm going to introduce myself in Navajo. And what I did was I introduced myself in Navajo, and it tells people who my mother is, who my father is, my grandfather, my paternal grandfather too. So basically that's our introduction in Navajo to all people we meet, so they know who we are. So good morning, and I am director for Assist to Independence. That's a Center for Independent Living located in Arizona. We are located on the Navajo Reservation, serving Hopi tribal members, San Juan Southern Paiute members, and Navajo tribal members. And it's been good, great time for me, because this is my passion, helping people with disabilities, being an advocate for them. And I don't do this alone. I want to thank my staff. They do a lot of the work with me, and I want to thank the peer mentors and our consumers. They're great. They do a lot of the work with us, and they talk to people. They're the ears. A lot of them are ears for us because we have a huge number of them actually. When you really think about when you count all of them, and they're out there in the community. They spread the word and they talk to people. They tell us what's happening in the communities, who needs help. So I want to thank my staff, the peer mentors, the consumers. They're all helping us all the time, and and we actually have a long ways to go. Some of the issues that we need to advocate for on tribal lands is employment and training. You know, a lot of our youngsters, young people with disabilities, and even older folks with disabilities who are still wanting to work. Who's helping them actually learn how to work if they've never worked before? You know, because, you know, those are just issues we need to continue to think about. Helping them to learn how to work so they can be successful for the rest of their life. And housing, you know, there's a lot of need for housing on tribal lands. I'm hearing so many things, and with COVID-19, I heard of all the issues in the nursing homes. You know, how do we address that for our folks? How do we make sure they have homes on their own tribal lands and their own communities that they can access in terms of making sure those homes are accessible, and transportation systems for our people? You know, make sure that person with a disability, that elder, is not hitchhiking. Make sure they're not out there in inclement weather. And so we have to think about transportation for them, and we have to think about, you know, how are they learning things? So how do we spread the word? How do we continue to do well with our information and referral systems in tribal lands? We know now with COVID-19 how there's been a lack of information to our people and communities because no Wi-Fi, some have no phones. So there's just so many things that have come out. So there still needs to be a lot of work in all areas in terms of helping our people be served more, you know, so they're not cold, they're not hungry, they're not sitting there lonely and socially isolated. What are some of the things we're thinking about to help them do that? You know, and it's like Phil said, the best way to help our people, I believe, is advocacy. Just talking to, and seeing how many partnerships and collaborations we can make across our tribal lands so that we all get together and work together. So that's me. So thank you very much. Whoever, everybody who nominated me, everybody who I worked with through the ages, thank you very much.
Thank you, Eileen, and may your work continue to touch the lives of those you serve. Please welcome at this time, Kimberly Yellowrobe, co-chair of the American Indian Disability Summit Planning Committee, to introduce our keynote speaker. Kimberly?
And Peter and happy Day, Kimberly Yellowrobe Imachiapi, Ma Sikaji Lokoto Yate. Good morning, everyone. Today is a beautiful day and been looking forward to the summit for quite some time now. So my name is Kimberly Yellowrobe. I'm an enrolled member of the Rosebud Sioux Tribe from South Dakota. I am the Associate Director, Tribal Coordinator for Banner University Health Plan. It's my pleasure to share information about our morning speaker, Ms. Rosalie Perry. Rosalie is a member of the Auction Indian community. She has worked with Ability 360 since 2002. She teaches independent living for individuals with disabilities throughout Pinal County. Rosalie has 5 children, 10 grandchildren, and 2 great-grandchildren. Rosalie came on board with Ability about the time Jim had the first disability summit. So I've known Rosalie since she started with Ability back in 2002, and wanted to share with you that actually Rosalie was the first recipient of the Marcus Harris Leadership Award. She was very important in the first summit. She kept us together, was pretty much the glue that kept moving things forward. And we all appreciate everything that Rosalie has done for us throughout the years. past and appreciate what Ability 360 does, its leadership in lending Rosalie out to help support the summit. So with that being said, I'd like to introduce Ms. Rosalie Perry, our morning speaker.
Thank you, Kimberly, for those words. I really appreciate the wonderful introduction. Hello, everybody. Skook Siadium. I am from the Auction Indian community. As Kimberly said, I am a mother of 5. My sons, Norbert Jr., Michael, and Marlon, and my 2 daughters, Susan and Feather. And I'm a grandmother of 10 and a great-grandmother of 2. And I live in the community along with my husband, Richard, of 17 years. For those of you who may not know where the Auction Indian community is located, it is 37 miles south of Phoenix, near the city of Maricopa in Pinal County, Arizona. Before I move on, I want to mention the title of my presentation, It's Only Me, and why I chose that as a title. And it's a simple title. And so you see, I was chosen by the Summit Committee this year to be the keynote speaker. And actually, we had to postpone last year's summit due to the pandemic. And so they have honored me to continue this year. So thank you very much, Summit Committee. I am not a motivational speaker. In fact, I'm not a speaker at all. I was hired by Ability 360, previously known as Arizona Bridge to Independent Living, to serve people with disabilities, to empower them to become independent through teaching independent living skills instruction. Many of you are most likely not familiar with me until today, as I'm more comfortable being in the background, assisting people with disabilities on a one-to-one basis, helping people with independent living skills toward reaching their goals of achieving resilience and self-care. And that's the theme of this year's summit, is gathering Native voices for resiliency and self-care. And as I started thinking of myself as someone who could provide a message of resiliency and self-care, I thought of the hurdles I had to get over to be where I am now, and saw myself in that high hurdle race. And thinking about it, as I began the race, this was hurdle number 1. At the time I started thinking about a college education, there were no role models within my family to learn from in order to begin a post-secondary education. My life dream was to become a social worker, and for that I felt I needed a college education. There were family members at the time that attempted college, but didn't complete. Hurdle 2, financial instability. I had no money, no guidance on how to obtain this at the time and how to stay there financially. Hurdle 3, I had a question that was constant on my mind. Would I be able to commit to complete my higher education because of hurdle 1 and hurdle 2? Well, I was able to hurdle over 1, 2, and 3. And after I began my college education in the social work field, I was involved in a car accident that caused paralysis from a spinal cord injury. That was hurdle 4. I had to go through a painful recovery and lengthy rehabilitation. And an injury of this significance could have easily caused someone to abandon a college education. But with the help and support of my family, my children, and my spouse, I was able to make it over hurdle 4, complete my education, and become gainfully employed with the great agency that is Ability 360. In fact, I will be celebrating 19 years with the agency in August of this year. Through this, I was able to discover and realize the value I have as an individual with a disability who teaches people with disabilities by assisting them to move forward with their goals and achieving resilience and self-care. The high hurdle race is my race to complete and has become my life. It is a race I have endured, yet gained immeasurably from. Along the way, I received the help, support, and guidance from family and my wonderful coworkers, and have taken on the race myself, hence the title, It's My Life. In closing, I would like to take the rest of my time to pay tribute to a wonderful soul. I, like many, have lost loved ones in the past year. Family members close to me, but one is most significant: the loss of my oldest son on March 2nd, 2021, to the COVID virus. His name is Norbert Michael Peters Jr. We nicknamed him JR at birth. And his life was a beautiful 43 years I was blessed to be a part of. His love and his inspiration and the strength he had for life gives me hope and inspires me to move forward in continuing this race to resilience and self-care. Thank you all so much for listening. And I wish you all a great summit and hope you enjoy this day.
Rosalie, we thank you for your wise words, your personal insights, and your unending commitment to the persons with disabilities. You are an inspiration to all of us. Thank you.